Tshwane later this morning. Now, the party formed back in 2013 had a good start during the 2014 general elections when it won 6% of the votes. Now, from that base, the EFF is estimated to have grown by approximately 10 to 13%, and that's, of course, depending on different surveys, such as the one that was conducted by the Institute for Race Relations in September last year. Well, still with us here in studio is Kagiso TK Pooe, who is a political analyst and a public policy specialist. And we continue with our discussion from where we left off. Now, TK, you know, when the EFF was formed back in 2013, a lot of people had hoped that this was a party that was going to provide good solutions. It was the alternative. It was a party that came with fresh ideas. But over time, we started to see mixed views emerge, especially when we look at things like the conduct of the leaders within the EFF, the run-ins that they've had with journalists, calling out the former finance minister, Pravin Gordhan, all sorts of manner of things. And just in general, their public image seems to really have waned. How do you weigh in on that? And how do you think that will come into play when people are looking for a political home?
I think we have to look at it from this side. Confrontation is not a bad thing. I, for one, I didn't really have an issue with what they were saying about the former minister, Pravin Gordhan. It's only when it becomes personal, it becomes a problem. Because I think there's nothing wrong with raising issues about this and how do you conduct yourself and maybe certain insinuations. But I think maybe where people get a bit irritated with the EFF is that they seem to take it a step too far, which maybe speaks to the issue of trying to, I think the way they've painted themselves, they said they're quite it's a leftist, Marxist, Leninist party, and by historical nature, those parties that go on that left side tend to be quite extreme. So it's an issue now of trying to say, listen, it's either people are going to see that they've behaved and can actually say, listen, I can't confront you, I can't criticize you, even if you are the media, but it's going to be based on factual things and it will never quite get personal. I think that's what people are looking for. So it's not so much the confrontation, it's the style of confrontation, which always seems to go a bit extreme, which I think maybe makes people a bit fed up.
Now, at times we've seen the EFF be too quick to hoist the virtue flag. They speak out against corruption and the likes, but we've seen them being implicated, some of their leadership being embroiled in in particular, the VBS scandal. And of course, it's been said that the party also receives funds from a self-confessed smuggler, Mazotti. So some people may be looking at this and thinking, you're not as clean as you claim to be. And do you think that the EFF has ventilated those issues properly, not only within their own structures, but to their members and just the greater South African community?
I don't think so. I don't think they've done a good job at that. It's that if you're going to be a party that professes to say, listen, our house is clean, you can look at it from each and every way, you better make sure. And I think the great thing that people got to see these issues come out before the election, because I think the EFF, one of the cardinal pillars they stand on is the issue of corruption. And I think they've not really done a good job, especially if you look at the issue of VBS. Look, I think the claims still have to go through the proper court judicial system because it was just a report. But if it is true that, look, certain members, and I say members, not the party itself, members of the EFF were implicated, I think it's actually quite a sad indictment, because VBS, if you speak to people that come from that region, was really one of the true and only black African banks that were standing. So if certain people in the EFF were involved, I think it just really speaks to the fact that the contradiction and problems within the EFF.
All right, TK, that's where we'll have to leave it. Thank you so much for your time this morning. That was political analyst Kagiso TK Pooe talking to us about just some of the key issues when it comes to the EFF as they are launching the elections manifesto today at the Giant Stadium in Soshanguve in Tshwane. We'll bring you more details in as far as that event is taking place. We've got journalists who are there at the venue, and they'll be bringing us closer to that elections manifesto launch. That's where I'll leave it for the moment. I'll take you now to SABC.